On today's Cowboys Report, we are breaking down the running back options for the Dallas Cowboys. They have to get one. We all know that. And frankly, given the overwhelmingly stacked nature of this class, I would argue it'd be kind of hard to not end up getting a running back at some point relatively early this year. I think the value, the depth, the impact, talent is all kind of borderline overwhelming. So we're going to go round by round. I'll pick one top option and mention some others for the Cowboys as well. I also wouldn't rule out the possibility of the Cowboys adding more than one. They could take one on day 2 and one late day 3 as well. So how many running backs will the Cowboys end up drafting? Let me know in today's video, in the comments of today's show. I want to just do an overview here of how I graded this 2024 class against the 2025 class. I had 23 draftable grades last year. I have 32, and I basically stopped. I'm like, I have enough, it's 32. So 9 more. I had a round 1 grade this year. That's Ashton Jeanty. Did not have a round 1 grade last year. I have 11 grades on day 2. That is almost double what I had last year. I've got 16 grades over the course of the first 4 rounds, 23 in the first 5 rounds. It is a really friggin' good class. You should be able to find somebody. Now, the best one is the only round 1 grade I have. It's Ashton Jeanty. That would be the round 1 pick for the Cowboys. He would love to be back in Frisco, back in Dallas. I think it is very unlikely he is there in round 1. The Raiders, the Bears, I don't foresee him getting past the top 10 picks this year. That would then leave Marion Hampton. And there have been mock drafts, I know, with Hampton to the Cowboys, but I think they would pass on him. And we also know Marion Hampton will not make it to 44, barring some weird, outlandish, probably negative thing we don't know about emerging. I don't think either of those guys end up being likely round 1 picks just because of where the Cowboys are drafting, their needs, and the values of those guys, respectively. Now, what running back, any round, do you want the Dallas Cowboys to draft? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. What running back do you want the Cowboys to get? It's the pinned comment. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. The top round 2 guy for me, Ohio State's TreVeyon Henderson. I love what he brings. I think you need an explosive play, a big play generator that you haven't had in a little bit here. This is a 5'10 and change, 204 running back. Ran a 4.4 340, great explosive ability. He is a threat to take it the distance anytime he touches the ball. 22% of his runs were explosive runs, i.e. longer than 10 years. The vision, the pacing can be a little bit spotty at times. There's some, Tony Pollard-esque ability to his game. I do mean that in a positive sense, by the way. Some pre-injury J.K. Dobbins. The very fun athletic testing throwback comp is Curtis Martin. Remember him? Yeah, that was a hell of a player too. I have a 2nd round grade on him. I don't know if he gets to you at 44. If he does with his pass blocking ability, I think this is a strong pick by the Cowboys. The other round 2 guys I want to mention, especially if Henderson's gone, Caleb Johnson from Iowa is an outside zone runner. And then Henderson's teammate, Quinshon Judkins, also could be strong round 2 picks. Round 3, there's a lot of guys that could be in play for you here. I am a fan of R.J. Harvey. You will notice a trend, by the way, in today's video. I think this Cowboys team needs a big play creator. That is what R.J. Harvey does. He had 54 carries last year with at least 10-plus yards. That is a massive figure. Again, we're talking above 23% in terms of how many plays go for explosive. That's incredible there. He was 2nd in the nation of at least 15 yards with 32. He makes guys miss. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He ran a 4.4 40-yard dash. He's not the biggest, although 5'8", 205 is a pretty stocky frame. I think ends up being pretty promising there. Has had a couple fumbles at times the past couple years. That is a valid red flag. I don't love him in pass protection. He's also old. He is just turned 24, but in round 3, I think this is one of the better backs. There's a lot of guys that fit in round 3, though. Some combination of Dylan Sampson, Damian Martinez, Cam Scattaboo, DJ Giddens. Giddens and Sampson offer more big playability. Martinez and Scattaboo are kind of more of the power runners. I don't think all these guys make it to your round 3 pick, and there could be some guys that we'll mention in round 4 if you want to trade down or trade up into the 4th round as options here too, but there is talent in this range. Now, today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time makes getting tickets even faster and easier because prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer you get to first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in pricing, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. You get up to 60% off when you buy last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. with Game Time's last-minute deals. The Game Time Picks feature, by the way, makes buying tickets easier than ever for sports, concerts, comedy, theater by quickly highlighting the best deals with the Game Time Picks feature in the stadium, arena, concert hall, whatever. The Game Time guarantee is this. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So what are you waiting for? Go download the Game Time app today, create your account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Now look, terms do apply. But create your account, redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Let's go to round 4. Again, this might end up being, I take him in the 3rd round, but I want to have a trade down, trade up target here. Bashal Tutin out of Virginia Tech. Again, the common trend so far, give me someone who will create big plays for you. That is what Bashal Tutin is able to do. There is return values. 34 carries of at least 10-plus yards is one of the best percentages in college football. 21 of at least 15%. He does offer some pass capability. Did it even more so at North Carolina A&T. Wasn't as involved from a schematic perspective in 2024. The top athletic comps here, put in perspective how good he is athletically. Like Reggie Bush, which we're not doing that one. Chase Brown, Matt Breida. He is very built as a faster, has the same very real red flag fumbling issue, 10 in 2 years, way too high, as Tiki Barber. Similar builds, but Tutin is much faster. He's young. I am a big fan of his game. Other round 4 options, some of them could sneak into round 3. Jordan James out of Oregon, Trevor Etienne, Jaden Blue's got big playability. Jarquez Hunter is undervalued. I think Devin Neal is a very good football player as well. It's kind of why I wish I had a 4th. If I had an early 4, I would know I would get a good back. Round 5, again, this also might be a 4th round grade, or might have to be a 4th round pick, but I want to have fun players to talk about here. Rashard Smith, receiver turned running back, was a receiver for the University of Miami, and then made the conversion to running back for SMU, and was awesome. 235 carries, over 1,000 yards, 5.7 yards per carry, kick return ability, obvious pass catching value because he was a receiver. Now, he is undersized. He's under 5'10", was 194 at the combine, did run a 4.39 40, has that breakaway big playability, 19 plays of at least 20-plus yards. I like the Tyrone Tracy comp here because that's a receiver turned running back. Athletically, Steve Slayton. Remember him from his time at West Virginia. Some other round 5 options. Ollie Gordon, Kyle Monangai are both power-heavy runners who can run over you. LaQuint Allen is one of the better 3rd down backs in this class, too. He had a ton of catches. He had 119 career at Syracuse. I think J.D. McKissick. He could also be a fun day 3 option. So would you double dip at running back? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Would you double dip, take one early, take one late at the running back spot if the board falls properly? Round 6, and again, by the time I get to like the 5th round, it's like 5th to 7th round, it all kind of blurs together. How about Taj Brooks? And I don't know if he lasts this long, but this is an extremely productive runner who ran for over 1,500 yards back-to-back years at Texas Tech. This is a inside runner. I think he shed some weight for the combine, which led to some good testing for him, and I was really, really pleased. And I don't know if he's quite as fast as he tested, but that doesn't matter. It worked out well for Taj Brooks. I like his game. I think he offers power running, and if you could do like this platoon idea of, having let's say you take Henderson in round 2 or get that explosive run, or you take an explosive guy in the 5th round and then take Taj Brooks in the 6th, I think that's a really good combination. He ran for 100-plus yards in 19 of his last 22 games. If he were to actually be like in his upper 220s weight, you're looking like, Mike Davis or C.J. Anderson type of comps there. I think day 3, someone's going to get a guy that can be a lead back in a committee. He can be like the early down back. Now, we will have live NFL draft coverage for you right here on the channel. Hit that sub button. All Cowboys for you all the time. The picks are coming faster. Actual analysis, no stupid cutaways for other things that no one cares about, to like interview the coach from the first rounder that was 2 days ago. We got you covered here on the Cowboys Report. Hit that sub button right now. Round 7. At this point, I'm just going special teamer. Khalil Mullings, who is also more of a power runner. And this is a linebacker turned back. I am convinced this guy ends up a Charger with Jim Harbaugh, or ends up the Lions with like Dan Campbell, or ends up with the Patriots because his Pop Warner coach was Robert Kraft's son, by the way. Has only really 1 year playing running back, and he averaged 5 yards per carry. Hasn't fumbled since 2022. There's obvious special teams value because he was a linebacker. I don't know if there's any pass catching ability. Got 8 career catches, but at his size, he's 6'1.5", 226. I think that offers potential pass blocking ability to help out somewhat on third downs. But if you want like your number 3 back to help you on special teams, Mullings can be that type of guy.